at Twende Shule, the program that offer an honor in teaching in various subjects. We continue with our history subject, the last topic in Form 4, about Africa in international affairs. So in the previous lesson, we discussed about the formation of African Union, whereby at the date of 9th September 1999, when the heads of the state of Organization of African Unity met at Sirte City in Libya, the then president of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, proposed for the formation of a new organization that will take the responsibility which were taken by the OAU. Therefore, from that time, they formed a new organization which came into effect from 2002. Therefore, after the formation of AU, African Union, the heads of the state saw that in order to execute these functions, in order to execute this objective of the union, we must form or establish various organs that will be responsible to execute those duties, that will be responsible to perform all activities to realize the objective of the union. Therefore, today we are going to discuss about the organs of the African Union. That when the heads of the state decided to form various organs that will be responsible to ensure smooth functioning of the organ, that will be responsible to ensure the implementation of plans of the union. So they formed various organs. Until today we have almost 10 organs of the union. Though other organs are just in a protocol but have not yet executed or have not yet formed or established. So among these organs we are going to discuss as follows. The first organ of African Union is the Assembly. So Assembly, this is the supreme organ of the Union. It is composed of heads of the state and government. So who are the members of the Assembly? Are all heads of the state and government. In other way, we can say all presidents of the member state of AU are the member of the Assembly. So this is the supreme organ of the Union, and it is composed of heads of the state and government, and it has to meet at least once a year in ordinary session. That normally they meet once a year. So all heads of the states and the government, they must meet once a year. This is normal. But it can happen, it can meet extraordinary session at any time upon the request of any member state and approval by a 2/3 majority member state. It is headed by a chairman for a period of 1 year. So always the chairman of a union must be a president, because almost in all African states we are using president. Only in a few African states we are using kings, like how happened in Swaziland or in Eswatini. Therefore, the chairman of the union or the chairman of the assembly always is a president. So it's chaired by a chairman who is appointed for a period of 1 year. So the main function of the assembly are to determine common policies of the union. So the first function is to determine the common policies of the union. They also receive, consider, and make decision on reports and recommendation from other organs. Remember, the assembly is the supreme organ of the union. but we have other organs. So other organ can provide a report, can provide a recommendation. Therefore, the function of the assembly is to receive the report, is to consider the report, and to make a decision on that reports and recommendation provided by other organ. It can be the Permanent Representative Committee, it can be the court, the African Court of Justice, it can be the Peace and Security Council. So the assembly is to receive the report, to consider the report, and to make a decision on the reports and the recommendation from other organs. But also, it adopts the budget of the union. So the budget of the union is always adopted by the assembly. But also, appoint and terminate appointments of the judges of the Court of Justice, and appoint the chairman and commissioners of the commission. So, because another organ of the union is the African Courts of Justice, so the judges of African Courts of Justice are appointed, or the appointment can be terminated by the assembly. So when the assembly agree on the termination of the appointment of a judge of the African Court of Justice, so that judge will no longer be a judge of that court. So these are the function of the assembly, are the principal organ, or are the supreme organ of the organization. The second organ is the Executive Council. So the Executive Council is composed of the ministers of the foreign affairs. So principal, the member of the Executive Council are the ministers of foreign affairs. But sometimes even other ministers on behalf of the ministers of foreign affairs, as decided by a member state, can be a member of the Executive Council of the Union. So we say it is composed of the ministers of foreign affairs. It meets twice a year in ordinary session. It can also meet in an extraordinary session at a request of any member of the state and upon approval of 2/3 majority of the member state. Therefore, here we have seen that the assembly, they meet just once a year. But here the Executive Council, which is comprised of the ministers of foreign affairs, they meet twice a year as an ordinary session. But it can have an extraordinary session at a request of any member state. And that request must be approved by 2/3 of the member state of the union. Therefore, normally they meet twice a year, but it may meet more than 2 times a year if there is a request from any member state. And that request must be approved by 2/3 of the majority member of the union or of the council. Another organ is the Pan-African Parliament. The Pan-African Parliament. As I told you, the word pan means all, or the word pan means together. Therefore, this is the parliament that comprises all member states of the union, whereby